How's it? Now you may be wondering, how on earth has this fella survived the brutal attackings of the king of the jungle, the great, the wonderful, the hairy, the actual enormous cat, more commonly referred to as a zebra, no, lion. So, let me take you back a little. Let me give you a little bit of an explanation, a little bit of a story, and most importantly, a little bit of a good time while you watch me absolutely slave away doing cardio and back day, which in all fairness was pretty gosh dang good. So, how did your boy survive a lion attack? Not only survive, but as a result, become the king of the jungle, subduing the lion, and is ultimately being a total badass. So, starts when I was but a sapling, most likely 13, 14 years of age. Now, to give you a little bit of a visual, I was a late bloomer, to say the least. I was still a small lad at that age. I had yet to discover what growing vertically was, and instead my voice decided to see how loud and supersonically pitched it could be, which is then again a pretty impressive skill. That has no relation to this, however. So me and my dad, we go on a bit of a trip to essentially a safari. For those of you who that's probably the most likely term people would understand as a safari. Now, I'm in a country where it's pretty much the bush. We call it the bush, where the safari. It's very wild. It's one of the few places in the world where wildlife is still wild. So if you see a buffalo, you cannot go up to it, give it some grass, take a photo. Buffalo is going to see how its pointy horns can impale you and turn you into a small bit of a pin cushion, which is not on my bucket list of things to do. So we arrive in the bush. It's grubby, it's dirty, it's sweaty, mosquitoes, insects buzzing around all the time. And you know, that doesn't fuss me. I've been in the bush enough times. I've been in it since I was a kid, and you know, I quite enjoy it, to be honest. It's good peace, quiet, you see wildlife, it's kind of beautiful, grounds you a bit, and ultimately it's a nice escape, or so I thought. So as per usual, we have a guide. A guide is essentially someone who walks around with you in this. Oh, let me add to this. Not like other safaris where you go around in cars. Here you go around on foot with a guide who has a measly, I don't know, gun, bolt action gun that could probably stop a snow rabbit at best. Now, we're up against elephants, rhinos, buffaloes, lions, leopards, cheetahs. All of the big five are smushed together, and they're saying, I'm hungry, and low-key having a bit of a bloodlust, which is not good for my situation. So, as you do, you want to see animals. However, the guide, as in his profession, it is to protect you and his clients, essentially, which was me and my father and some other people. He sat down and told us some rules of the bush. Now, I knew these rules, but they were a good refresher for, you know, it's always good to hear things again so you know what and what not to do. Now, I'm going to tell you one of the things. You know, you get told how to track animals, how to hear them, scent them, what smells, etc., etc. And most importantly, in the event of, you know, seeing a lion, or what happens if an animal of some description were to charge you. So with an elephant, climb up a tree and run, because yeah, that's going to be a rough one if you don't. With a lion, keep eye contact and back away, facing it, and don't turn around, shoot your back and run. Otherwise, you know, it says, yummy meal running away from me. Let me go chew on your bones. Right. So we see a couple things throughout the day. You know, we see elephants, which is very cool, peaceful animals. One of the few elephants that still stands on its hind legs and actually picks trees or leaves off of trees to eat, which is pretty bloody cool. Now, that's cool and all. We had a little mock charge, which wasn't too bad because you just kind of stay calm. The guides have experienced it 1,000 times and you're not gonna die. Well, Benji was shitting in his pants nonetheless, but you know, big brave boy. I had my little pocket knife strapped to my pants, so not a shot was anything going to scare me. You know, I was the man. I had a pocket knife that I was carving, I remember this so specifically, little images into tree trunks, and I was thinking to myself, if I come back here in 20 years, I'm going to remember this tree and see if the image is still there. Lo and behold, I have no fucking idea where that tree nor image would be. So, as we do, we wander on, and then the guide, you know, I hear, because like he's at the front and we're all in a straight line walking through the bush, and I hear, that's the walkie-talkie going, Roger, Roger, lion kill, you know, set coordinate. Now everyone's hyped, right? There's a lion kill. Lions are not something you see in the wild very often. They are predators, you know, they hunt for their prey, they hide in the bush. They're not something you really see a lot, on the odd exception of when they have killed another animal and they're feasting on it. Now, how do we find that? Obviously, there are people walking around, but if you look to the skies, you see vultures circling said animal, and you slowly start trotting towards it. So, we're on our way over there. We get there, whatever. And now, me and my dad, okay, so we actually got a car there, believe it or not. I know, fancy. So now we're out of the car, walking into thick bush, where a pride of lions has just recently killed a, what was it? It was a zebra, I believe. So, me and my father look at each other. My father's quite a bushy dude, you know, he knows the crack when it comes to that sort of thing. And we both kind of look at each other a bit uncomfortably and we say, this is a really dumb idea. Why on earth are we going into thick bush where in fact we know there are lions, we know they want to attack us and defend their food, and we know our likelihood of survival is more than likely dwindling by each step. So we do the responsible thing, we look at each other, we're probably about 20 steps into the deep bush, and we're like, alright, let's turn around and go back to the car, I don't want to die. So, we turn around. You may be thinking, what the cowardly move? However, this is not a story of a coward, this is a story of a hero. This is a brilliant story. So we're walking out, and as we exit the bush, I can't help but feel a glare come over me. If you would, your sixth sense. People may think it's bogus, but your sixth sense is a very real thing, and you can in fact feel it. So I turn around and I look, and I see in the thick bush, I joke you not, about 20 meters away from us, two yellow eyes staring at me and my dad. Now, I have a quick examination, you know, a little bit of my heart stops for a second, I elbow my dad, I'm like, fuck, look over there, and what do you know, it is the head of a, the head of a male lion. He was young, his mane was small, but when I say his mane was small and he was young, his head was probably about this big, which is bloody terrifying when you are on foot and seeing this 20 meters away. So my dad says, right, let's go. naturally. But the hero of the story, Benji, had other plans. I stood there for a second, put my finger to my head, and I went, and I used all 13 years of my life's experience to come up with this brilliant plan. I thought back on all the times in my life, all the things people had ever told me. And, you know, I was thinking, right, lion attack, how do we survive this? Thinking. Nothing's coming to mind. You know, a little bit of Fortnite, Bright Bomber, crank a 90. Naturally, first thing I tried to crank a 90. Unfortunately, I was out of maths. So, I keep thinking. And finally, it dawns on me what the guy told us earlier in the trip. What do? So I look at my dad with a smirk on my face because, you know, I'm the savior of this situation. And I'd say, no, don't you run. Do not forsake us, Father, as we are about to retreat slowly backwards, maintaining eye contact with the lion. And so we did. Now, nonetheless, the lion charged us, so naturally I had to give him a quick 1-2 combination, show him who's boss, do a quick default dance on him. That's not what happened. What's happened is what I said, and you know, we got away safely. And yeah, that's my story about how I survived a lion attack. It wasn't much of an attack, but my word, it was bloody frightening. But anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed. Like and subscribe if you want to see more, because that's what the cool kids say. And we'll see you tomorrow.